Welcome into this Lion Vision update presented by CBNS Bank. Catching up with UNA head football coach Chris Willis. North Alabama just wrapped up game 3 of the 2020 season, falling to Southern Miss on the road 24-13. Coach, let's revisit the game down in Hattiesburg. 4 turnovers you forced on the day, come up short against another FBS program. Now that you've had time to watch the game film, what did you see when you looked back at it?
Well, you know, the sting of it today is you get 4 turnovers and you don't come away with the win. And granted, they are FBS. I get all of that. But we had our opportunities in that game. They do have a good football team, regardless of the record. They had some very skillful guys, a very good size. There's some guys we had our issues with tackling at times on defense. And so, overall, I watched the film. We played hard. We were, like always, when we were right there. Would have liked to have put them away. I think when we kicked the field goal to make it 13-7, we needed to punch that in. When you play a team like, I don't care, that level period of FBS, you've got to be able to put the ball in the end zone. I mean, that's the name of the game, score more points than the other team. And, 13 just never was enough. I kept thinking that the whole time throughout the course of the game. We've got to get another punch in. And I thought we missed our opportunity when we had to settle for the field goal. We could have made it 17-7. Who knows how the game would have flowed. I know there's still a lot of time left, almost a whole quarter, but things changed at that point, the way they called the game. They weren't throwing the ball very well that day, and so we kind of had dialed in on their passing game. We did have some trouble with stopping their run, but sometimes that comes into play when you play teams that have got a little more depth and size. So overall, I mean, I'm very happy. The team and where we're at. I mean, we know what we're doing and why we're doing the things we're doing right now for this fall. And, we're setting ourselves up where I think it's going to be an exciting fall of 2021. And, I don't think anybody, when they first saw the schedule, probably gave us much of a chance in any of the games. Probably thought it was going to be lopsided all the way through. But after 3 games, we've been able to play. I mean, at Liberty, it was 7-3, I believe, at halftime. And here's a team that's ranked top 20 in the nation. Just knocked off Virginia Tech, I believe it was, and Syracuse. And, Jacksonville State finished 3-1 in the league. And, BYU, we all know what they're capable of doing. And for the first time, we won't have to sit in a hotel and watch them play on a Friday night because we'll be playing them. So it's been a fun fall. A lot of things we're experiencing, challenges just as far as dealing with COVID and how we've been able to just play the game of football. And I'm proud of all the people behind the scenes. It's just even making this happen and the importance of playing these 4 games and making this happen. And I look forward to the spring when we get back and are able to, hopefully get back to some type of normalcy like a normal spring and get geared up for the fall of 2021.
Coach, let's talk about what this team has done so far through 3 games. And you just touched on this. Liberty top 25 now. Jacksonville State 3-1 with an FBS win. Southern Miss an FBS program as well. BYU coming up next. But all 3 games, your team has fought hard. All 4 quarters had a chance to be in the ball game, win the ball game as well. What does it say about the state of the program and the way these players have approached the fall, given how hard they've played?
Well, I mean, you didn't know what to expect when you're only playing 4-game schedule and you got all these bye weeks. And I told this before. The challenge is just trying to keep everybody engaged and the best you can. And I think the players have accepted that. And there's obviously some things out there glaring that we've got to get better at as coaches and players. And whether it's offense, defense, special teams, there's some things we got to get better at. But that's what this fall's about. There's no trophy at the end of this. It was a 4-game schedule, 3 FBS opponents. We're able to play some football. We want this year to count. I need it to count. That was the number one thing on my book. I needed this season to count so we don't have to repeat the transition year. And as of right now, it looks like that's going to happen, and that's the big thing. And because now you come back in the fall of 2021 in your last year of the transition. And then these players, we got players that do get extra year of eligibility, whether it's playing here or playing somewhere else. So that was good news for those guys. And the fact that we were able to handle the COVID so well here, I think we did a great job, Josh Penny and his staff. So it's been a lot of wins here for this department this fall. I know it didn't happen on the football playing field, but there's a lot of wins behind the scenes, as you know, being what goes on here.
One more game to talk about as we get ready to go to BYU. But first, Coach, on Monday, the Big South Conference released the 2021 spring schedule. The Big South participating in the FCS championships this spring. North Alabama will not be playing. You want to take us through the decision to sit out in the spring?
Yeah, and when it first came out, we were then under the understanding that we had to play about 75% of a full schedule. For what people don't know is that's a 9-game schedule. That got reduced to 50% in a meeting on a conference call we had with the NCAA. Well, as they tell us that, Mark Linder asked, is that rounding up or rounding down? Because if you do half of 9, that's 4.5. And they said, well, we would round down. Then obviously we start thinking, okay, what's the best scenario for us? Is it best to go through a spring, a fall? We had to hear feedback from our players. We wanted to hear what they had to say as well. And we just feel like here at the University of North Alabama, the best thing for us, we look at the safety component of things, of guys having to come back and play 5-6 games possibly, not being able to participate in the fall if you lose them due to injury. We just looked at all the COVID things that are related in that, and then on the other side of things, we can't play for an FCS playoff berth or championship, and so that plays, all that kind of got factored in, and we feel like as a staff, administration, and coaches across the board, it was the best thing for us to opt out. We will not be the only one to opt out within the conference, but I think, whatever the Big South other teams decide to do, then congratulations to them. I don't know. I'm not going to judge on who does what. I do know that a lot of people hearing and talking to them on the phone call wish they could have done what we done. I think a lot of people now look at it as we should have got our team ready to play 4 or 5 games in the fall, or look at Central Arkansas. They played a 10, 11 game schedule. So I think people now are looking at like, man, what North Alabama did was pretty good to just get some games played. And then come back and have a normal spring. But listen, I'll be tuned in watching it. I'll be interested to see kind of how it all plays out as far as the schedule goes. Obviously, that's next year opponents for us. So, yeah, but we're going to be opting out the spring.
Coach, let's talk about the final game of the schedule. Number 8 in the nation, BYU, traveling out to Utah in 2 weeks. What's the schedule look like for your team as you approach this regular season finale?
Number 8, is that what it is? They got a week here. I think they're on a bye week. I don't know why they need a bye. Hopefully they'll schedule a game. Well, what we'll do, we normally come over on a Sunday, and after coming in on that late night travel, we gave them off, and we'll come into Monday. We're going to show the film. We're not going to practice. We'll come back, go practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the team, kind of start gearing a little bit towards BYU and introducing that to them. They'll have the weekend off, as just like we've been pretty much doing every week. When we have a bye week, they'll get Friday and Saturday off, and we'll come back in Sunday getting ready to go for the game week. And then I don't know the time, but we'll fly out sometime Friday, headed that way, and play the game Saturday. It is a 2 o'clock game, which I'm okay with, considering I don't know how cold and what the weather's going to be out there. And we'll see. They may be ranked higher than 8 by the time we get there.
North Alabama will wrap up the fall portion of the schedule next Saturday at BYU. Coach Willis, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Ben.